Hey, good morning, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel, the Virginia Bushcrafter, the channel where we continue to learn and practice all the wonderful and glorious skills of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival for the wilderness. So guys, actually to start off with, hey, thanks for taking some time to come out to my channel. I definitely appreciate it. And remember, at the end of this video, leave a like, comment, share, hype, and subscribe to the Virginia Bushcrafter. So guys, today I'm going out here to actually harvest some fatwood. And starting out, the first thing I did was make sure I know where I am. I'm using a compass. I have 210 degrees south. I know I'm coming out at 30 north. So again guys, when you're using a compass, you want to shoot an azimuth. An azimuth is an identification mark, and then you're going to follow your bearing. Your bearing gives you the direction you're going. And I'm not using a map, but a compass gives you directions, whereas the map tells you exactly where you are. But I know where I am, so I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and trek into the bush and go to a spot where I think there's a lot of fatwood, and we're just gonna have us some fun today. All right guys, I'll see you in the bush. All right guys, I am here at my location. I have been here before, and again, my main objective today is just harvest some fatwood, because I can always go to the store and purchase some, but why not come out into the bush and just have some fun? So as always, I've hung up my rucksack. I call this my closet, my Alice pack, a large Alice pack, my cutting tools, a kukri, an S-wing sportsman hatchet, Baco Laplander, my food, my fire kit, and just other items. And of course, there are my gloves, a shovel, a chair, bedroll, tarp, and my walking companion. So guys, I think the first thing that I'm going to do is set up my shelter. Again, shelter, fire, water, food. Of course, we all know there's basically the 10 C's. If you follow the 10 C's, you will have every single thing you need each and every time you come to the bush. Now, that's my opinion. But again, learn those 10 C's, be prepared, and come out into the bush. So let's get started. A 10 by 10 tarp. All right guys, so again, cover, fire, water, and food. So again, my main objective today is to harvest some fatwood, make a fire, make a meal. But just to show you, this is the reason you continue to practice and learn. You practice until you cannot get it wrong. So I'm going to pitch an open tarp shelter that I have not pitched in a while. So I'm just going to be going off muscle memory. So let's just see how well this works. All right guys, I hope you can see me, but again, I haven't pitched this in a while. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take a tent peg. I'm going to come in 1 grommet from the center and stake it down. And there may have to be some adjustments. I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. 1 grommet from the center and stake it down. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is get 2 more tent pegs. I'm going to stake down the side. So, the very last grommet, I'm going to skip and I'm going to go to the next grommet on this side. And I'm glad this ground is soft. I'm going to go to the other side. Don't know if you can see me, so I'm going to put you in focus. Directly opposite from the other side, and stake it down. So I have used 4 tent pegs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so that's 4 tent pegs. Let's do the front. Okay, I have 2 more tent pegs that I'm going to use in the front. And I'm going to go to the very corner grommet. I'm going to lift it and bring it to the second grommet from the end. And what will that do? That will put me directly in line with the tent peg and the grommet in the rear. So the right goes directly to the where the second grommet is, and stake it down. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to take the corner grommet and we're going to bring it to the second one, which again puts it in line with the grommet in the rear, and stake it down. The next thing to do is prop it up. Again, from muscle memory, practice until you cannot get it wrong. Now I'm going to take the trekking pole and a bandana. I'm going to put the bandana on top of the trekking pole, and this will help to prevent puncturing my nice 10x10 tactical tarp. So I'm going to do that. I'll bring you back. All right, guys, let's take a look at this with the tent pole on the inside. So as you can see what the tent pole does. Now, I brought the tent pole to the second center grommet. Now, there are several things I can do with this. I can take this and fold it over, and this would be fine on either side. But I think I'm going to just make an apron. But I want to show you, just from using 6 tent pegs, what it looks like so far. Now, what I'm going to do with these corners, I'm just going to tuck. All right, guys, so here it is from the rear. As you can see, I've tucked those corners in on both sides. But what I also did to make it firmer, I added a tent stake to the center. Now what I'm going to do is pull this out to give me even more room. Okay, I'm going to take some paracord, run it through this center grommet, put some Mother Nature in this loop, pour this out. I'm going to make a marlin spike hitch as soon as I get some of this material moved. Okay, let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a marlin spike hitch. It's just a loop right here. I'll show you that again. That's if you're turning a key in a vehicle. marlin spike hitch. Put the trekking pole through the marlin spike hitch, tighten it, and now I'm going to secure this into the ground. And we'll see how that's looking at this point. Guys, guess what? I ran out of tent pegs. So it's time to put the buckle Laplander into action. And I'm going to make the remaining 3 tent pegs that I need. Now, whenever you are making tent pegs, cut from a green tree. Don't use hardwood. You can, but it's easier to use green wood. So just cut a branch. This is what I have. And I'm gonna make 3 tent pegs out of this. So I'm just gonna get rid of all this right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over and make some tent pegs. All right, guys, I have run out of tent pegs, so I need 3 more. So again, what I did was cut a green branch. I'm going to use my Condor Wayfinder just basically to make a tent peg. So I'm just going to take the flat grind, the Scandinavian grind, and let me put you in focus. And this is why it's good to use a green branch, much easier. Now just using a push cut to make a point. Sufficient. I don't need to chamfer this in because the ground is very soft and I can just push it in. But this is the, I'm going to make 2 more just like this. And then we're going to come back. I'll show you how I'm going to use them. All right, here's 3 of them. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. Okay, there is the first one. The second one. And the third one is going to be used to pull out this front. But again, guys, I like to, if there's a grommet or guide out, I'm going to use it to make my shelter that much more secure. So the next task is to pull this back. I'm just going to attach this with some cordage to the back. All right, guys, almost completed. Again, what's the motto? Practice until you can't get it wrong. But anyway, as you can see, I used some of Mother Nature here. And this is a long piece of paracord just from this guide out all the way to this grommet to pull this flap back. Did the exact same thing on the other side. Grommet here and into the ground here. Extra paracord. So what I'm going to do is go to the front. I'm going to guide this out, put a tent peg here, the one that I made, and we're going to be complete with the construction. Then we're going to do some house cleanup on the inside. All right, guys, so take the last tent peg, guide this out, going to insert it right into the middle. Going to use a taut line hitch, and again, this is a very long piece of paracord, but I'm not going to cut it. And of course we make our 3 loops. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. Dress it up nicely. We come over and under. I know it's hard to see, but just look up a taut line hitch. And let's see, here we go. And we have it done. Our shelter is pitched, and with the remaining cordage, I'm going to hank it up. And put it, I'm going to hank it up. And put it right between the extra, or this, something, just keep it out of our way. There we have it. All right, guys, a very simple shelter to pitch. Again, this is the open tarp shelter. So again, I had to make 3 tent pegs because I did not anticipate using all of the 8 tent pegs that I brought with me. And again, this, I have not pitched this in a while, but again, learn and practice, practice and learn until you can't get it wrong. So here is a good panoramic view of it. Here's one side, here's the rear. And again, the rear, I poured out the space by using a trekking pole. All right, guys, so that's the shelter. It just needs some house cleaning. I'm going to remove the leaves inside, put a bedroll. We're going to take a look at it on the inside. All right, guys, so here is the inside of the open tarp shelter. As you can see, this can accommodate at least 2 people. 1 person in their gear for sure. I have removed all of the most of the leaves, because it is rather warm in there. And later today, I'm going to put a foam bedroll in there and take you inside. If this were winter time, I would have left the leaves and used that as part of my bedding. But this is the inside of the open tarp shelter. All right, guys, so it is time now to actually go and harvest some fatwood. Let's get to it. Hey guys, once again, fatwood is basically from an unexpired tree, a pine tree, where the resin goes downward into the roots and in the joints of the trunk and the branches. This is a root that is basically a gold mine of fatwood. So I'm going to collect some fatwood from here, and this is what I'm going to use to start my fire. So let me put on my gloves and get some of this fatwood. Again, fatwood is, I think, is the number one let's see, tinder or kindling. Again, this is just from the roots. Guys, look at this. All of this is fatwood. Fatwood. So guys, I'm gonna harvest a lot of this fatwood, take it back over to where we're gonna start our fire. I'm gonna process it. I'm gonna make some tinder out of it, as well as some kindling. All right, see you in a few. Hey guys, I have started splitting up some of this fatwood, and this area is now just reeking with the smell of fatwood. So let me show you exactly what I'm doing here. I'm using this condor wayfinder to split this wood. So here's a piece that I split earlier. It just reeks with fatwood. So I'm going to baton this into kindling. Show you exactly. It's just fatwood. This is all from the expired pine tree root. It's gonna make perfect kindling. So guys, when I get a fair amount of kindling, I'm gonna come back and make some tinder. But I'll bring you back when I get more kindling. Look at that. All right guys, so far I've been having a ton of fun, you know. Nice open tarp shelter, but this is very rewarding. This is bushcrafter's gold. This is all fatwood from an unalive tree, the roots. This is fatwood that's not even processed. I would not even have to make feather sticks with all of this fatwood. And if you notice, someone even left some charred fuel. There's more. Someone has figured out my spot. Not a problem because it's public land. Yeah guys, so what I'm going to do now is make some tinder. I'm going to get my tool out and make some tinder. Bring you back for more fun. Bushcrafter's gold. All of this darkness is fatwood, is resin. All right, let's make some tinder. All right, guys, I am getting ready to make some tinder out of the fatwood. With this fatwood, there would be no need for me to make feather sticks. So I'm going to take this scraper and I am going to just scrape this fatwood off until I get a nice quarter size or more of tinder. I'm going to put the ferrocerium rod to it to get some flames, and then I'm going to put this fatwood to it to catch the fuel. So let me bring you in close so you can enjoy the fun as well. Okay, so I'm going to put on my trusty gloves. I'm going to take the end of this. Well, let me see if you can actually, okay. I'm going to take this fatwood right into my shovel. And this is just making tinder. I have enough fatwood to even take home. Look how it's just coming right off. Look at the amount in the shovel already. So this is why this is known as gold for a bushcrafter. Just look at the amount of this. That is way sufficient, but I'm going to make more. I'm going to make more of this and bring you back because I want to see if I can get this started on the very first strike. All right, so let me continue to make some tinder, and then we're going to get us a fire going, and you know what follows? A meal. This time today, I think it's going to be a good meal. All right, see you in a few. All right, guys, so once again, cover, fire, water, and food. I've pitched the tarp, the open tarp shelter. I'm making the fire. I have water. I have food. So again, what I have done is harvest fatwood off an expired pine tree. And it's so much fatwood, I don't think I'm even going to need feather sticks. So anyway, here's a pile of shavings and fatwood dust along with some kindling. Let's just do it. Okay. After the very first one, we get fire. Let's get the fatwood going. Guys, just look at the blaze. Fatwood. Enough fatwood for the fire that has started. Okay, so there is the fire, guys. And look at all of the fat wood that I have left over. So guys, this is why it's important to come out and just have fun and practice. And the black smoke, confirmation of fat wood. All from Mother Nature, from the roots of the expired tree. This is premium. This is high octane. So I'm going to let that burn down to some coals. I think I'm going to be packing out some fat wood with me. All right, guys. Let's get ready for a meal. Just look at the black smoke. That is resin from the fat wood. All right, as you can see, in the foil paper on top of a very large chard or coal, there is something in the foil paper, and that is my lunch. And I just put those on there, and what they are, that's right, take a good look. Impossible burger patties. One of my favorites. Meat from plants. So that's what I'm going to be having today. I just put those on. I'm going to let them sit on the coals for about maybe 30 minutes. And it's going to be a meal time. I think what I'm going to do, instead of having tea today, I'm just going to have more Gatorade. So guys, this is the fun part again. I'm going to show you the inside of that. And as you can see, you're covered very, very well. Just look how the front just pulls down. And I can raise that at any time. But you are protected from rain. I mean, I can pull that down. I can put more leaves around the bottom. This is a good winter tarp. I can make it into a summer tarp as well. But it's called practice. And it's all done. It was done from muscle memory. I have not pitched this tarp in over a year. So the tarp was worked very well. I used a Baco Laplander, the saw, and I used my knife. I have not used the axe, well, the hatchet, or the kukri. But I remember I received a comment. Someone says, "Why do you need 4 cutting tools?" Guys, it's not a requirement. A cutting tool can be singular or it can be plural. I just like to have at least more than one way. I like to have a hatchet or an axe if I want to split large logs. I want to have a saw because a saw saves calories. And I want to have a good knife, a fixed blade knife. And I also want to have a carving knife. So those are my choices, quote unquote choice. You don't have to have all 4, but I like the redundancy. But it's fun coming out here practicing with all of these. Again, I won't use the kukri today. I have it with me. I won't use the hatchet with me. I have it with me today. So it's all about practicing, perfecting your skills, and enjoying Mother Nature. So as you can see, there's a fire pit with a nice berm around it. As you can see, there are a lot of leaves around here. You always want to push your leaves back and keep a shovel and water nearby. So with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and tend to the veggie patties, and I'll be back with you. All right, guys, the fire has done its job. It is time to eat. So let me show you exactly how I'm going to fix this meal. So again, what I have is 2 veggie burgers, a lot of lettuce, and no bread. So the lettuce becomes my bread. And it has tomatoes and onions. As you can see, the tomato and onion. All wrapped up in the burger lettuce. So as soon as I finish chewing the excess onion and tomato, here's the first bite. It is excessively delicious. I fix this a lot during the summer. Nothing but nice cold lettuce around the veggie burger with tomatoes, onions, sometimes pickles. I put some lemon pepper with some oregano and crushed red pepper as the seasoning, and it turns out wonderful. So the second bite will tell the truth. All right, guys, gonna finish this meal and be back with you. Have a bite. All right, guys, so I've just had my nice hearty meal. I'm in my shelter for a quick rest. It's quite warm in here, but I've been in here before during the winter, and it's really, really comfortable. So as you can see, you can barely see out. Fire's still going somewhat, but I am in the open tarp shelter right now, and just resting. I mean, it's been a good practice. And again, I put the shelter up. Thing about it, you won't get rid of the flies, you know. I guess they wanted some of my food. But this is quite comfortable. Again, even back here, there's room that I can put my gear. But yeah, this was done from muscle memory. I haven't pitched this shelter in quite some time. But this is why it's always good to just practice, because bushcrafting skills can become perishable. If you don't use them often, they will become perishable. So that's what I did today. I just wanted to show you the inside of this, and that it is comfortable. It's somewhat of a squeeze getting in, but I wanted to make it that way because if it were to rain, that rain is going to go that way and not in here. And also, as someone mentioned in the comments, yeah, I'll stay dry, but then I have to deal with the ground. That is true, but you can always put leaves around the tarp to help prevent the rain from coming in. Nothing is 100% foolproof, but I would say this is 99.9% proof if it were to rain. So with that said, guys, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to lay here for a little while, and then I'm going to get up, extinguish the fire, and chat with you some more. All right, guys, again, I'm in my shelter. As you can see, my good old knee pads. These things come in so handy. Much better than trying to put a knee pad down all the time. And if you bushcraft and you do a lot of sawing and wood processing, you'll find out that the knee pads are worth their value. All right, guys, I'll see you in a few. Well, guys, as you can see, the fire is out. I would douse it with some more water because I do see some steam coming up here. So I'll douse it with some water. But this is my area so far. And someone passed this forward, so I'm going to do the same thing. But here is again my bushcraft camp. This is practice, and everything that I do is practice for an overnighter. Because when you do an overnighter, you want things to work in order. You don't want to have to think about them, because most of your time, at least for me anyway, as an overnighter, is spent harvesting wood. So again, here is a look at the shelter. My gear that I call the closet over there. Again, a rear view. Trekking pole use. So guys, this has been a good session. Again, I only used a Baco Laplander, and the Condor Wayfinder knife. So these are the tools that I used today. The Condor Wayfinder, Scandinavian grind, 5-inch blade, spear point or drop point, 7-inch blade with 7.5 teeth per inch, but it works well. I mean, to cut through, I'll just show you what I did cut with it. The largest piece of wood that I cut today is this. So I would say, what, good 4 inches. But it's all about practice. It's all about fun. Practice until you can't get it wrong. So guys, I'm going to straighten up and I'll be back with you. it doesn't want to act right, so let's compress it more. And in doing so, it's just that simple. Again, muscle memory. "30 North. Fred in the shed." All right, YouTubers. Hey, it's been another fun day out here in the bush, just enjoying Mother Nature. Thanks for coming along. I was able to pitch an open tarp shelter from memory, something I haven't done in a while. Goes to show you practice, practice, practice. And I used the Bucko Laplander saw as well as the Condor Wayfinder, which has a Scandinavian grind edge on it. So those were the only tools I used besides my multi-tool to slice up some tomatoes and onions, and I used the multi-tool because it's stainless steel. So it's been a lot of fun. So guys, like, comment, share, hype, and subscribe to the Virginia Bushcrafter. And as always, like father and son, mother and daughter, human and nature, we're all akin in some form or fashion. Just get out in the bush and have some fun. See you on the next adventure.